Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television. I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Shoma Lina.
Yes, Chemalina is right here. How are you today?
It's a beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning.
It's been really...
Oh my gosh, cats and dogs.
Talk about the rain. You know, like you recommended our producer.
Oh, Miss Oma.
I said I was going to mention you. Oh, sorry.
The young lady has been on her feet. Well done, our producer, Miss Oma. So top on our radar this morning is PDP weighing on Peter Obi, Goodluck Jonathan as possible candidates for 2027 presidential election.
And also one of the other topics that we are going to be talking about today is on oil marketers that allege Ojulari intentionally closed Port Harcourt Refinery to benefit private firms. These are the major topics of discussion for today. However, we also have other interesting trending stories. But before we proceed, we urge you to kindly click on the subscription button and subscribe to our YouTube channel on Voice of the People TV. On other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live, I beg your pardon, at VOP TV Live. Also visit our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending news. As Voice of the People TV, your opinion matters to us. Therefore, we encourage you to call and share your thoughts and reactions via WhatsApp on 0904-473-2605. Because here, you have more than a voice.
Absolutely. Here you have more than a voice. Now, it has been announced by the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, that effective August 29, 2025, all postal items sent to the United States, excluding letters and documents, will be subjected to a prepaid customs duty of $80 or its Naira equivalent at the point of acceptance in Nigeria. Now, this development was said to be a result of an executive order issued by former U.S. President Donald Trump under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, through which duty-free treatment for all countries was suspended. Now, it was explained by NIPOST that the directive affects postal operators worldwide and not solely Nigeria. It was further warned that stricter measures by airlines and cargo carriers on U.S.-bound shipments could lead to disruptions in logistics operations, extended transit times, and delivery delays. It was also noted that all shipments to the United States will be subjected to customs checks at their destination, while engagements with the Universal Postal Union, UPU, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, and airline partners are being maintained to minimize service interruptions. Now, Chema, let's talk about it a little bit. Yeah? This is a major disruption. But the thing is, where there is Trump, there is disruption. It looks like Trump disruption.
Okay, that's what the general view will be. But sometimes, you know, some of this, his policies seem like it has a good way of bringing a good fruit of some sort. What do I mean is...
Are you kidding me?
Yes. Okay, I know you. Okay, I know you'll be shocked. But
yeah, I am shocked.
Sometimes, take for instance, if he makes a policy that says, okay, don't come to this country, stay in your country. That's a note for you to be in your country, develop your country to be as good as America. Then other people, Americans will want to also travel.
Yeah.
You know, cut them some slack.
You're just so right. Trump is all about making America great again. He's a nationalist. Yeah. So he's saying, you guys stay your own and let's stay
and make your country great.
Yeah. But remember, it is a global village.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't do without each other. But I'm not going to dwell too much on this particular one. But this thing about NIPOS is some people are mixing it up and saying that, Tinubu has done it again, has increased it and all, because it's just coming on the heels of the increment of, you know, the passport leaves and all of that. For you to obtain it was recently done. Now, but the thing is, this is reactionary. This is happening because of Trump's policy. This is not a Nigerian thing. And it's not just Nigeria alone. It's world over.
It's global. Yeah. So it seems this Trump, there's going to be a national or a global word that will be called Trump disruption, and it should mean something.
I said it earlier.
New custom duty likely to hit the SMEs, not just online vendors and regular citizens. So everybody, this is going to affect everybody. Yeah, some people might want to blame US for what's happening, from Trump era. However, the enforcement is biting hard locally. It's hitting everybody hard. I like to see everything from an optimistic point of view.
Oh, yes, I'm an
potential
incredible
logistic delays,
yeah.
do you understand, and cost implications for trade and diaspora ties will also be affected.
Absolutely. Very well said. You sound like a businesswoman already. Yeah, but I think you're up next.
Okay, so there is a video. I didn't want to take this because I didn't want us to talk about this because somehow it seems as if there is no longer evidence. But before this minute, there was a video that allegedly showing President Bola Tinubu threatening Nigerians who label his statements as AI generated. It was widely circulated on WhatsApp, where it was flagged as having been forwarded multiple times. In the 1-minute clip, Tinubu was heard warning that full consequences will be faced by those who mocked him, declaring that he was a living, breathing man who had fought and sacrificed for the nation, and insisting that citizens under 30, so if you're under 30, that video is insisting that you address him formally as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Mr. President. He calls for a return to respect and responsibility were emphasized, while digital insolence disguised as humor was condemned. The video was attributed to a particular TikTok creator. However, right now, that video cannot be traced. I guess the person who did this has somehow withdrawn it. A review of the account revealed that the clip was no longer posted, though other AI-generated satirical video featuring Tinubu remained, including fabricated announcement about heartbreak allowance, celebrity congratulations, and affiliations with Wizkid FC. The creator, whose page also hosts a fictional AI video series titled The Dark Pastor, stated in his bio that his content is AI-generated and not intended to mislead, though several clips have been shared out of context to spread misinformation. But then again, different strokes, they say, for different folks. Vivi, if you remember, there was a time something like this was done to Buhari.
Yeah.
And he laughed about it.
It was said that he was Jibrin from Sudan, for crying out loud, that he was cloned. He just laughed about it.
And life went on, different sense of humor for people understand sense of humor for different reasons. And sometimes, it seems as if when people come close to the truth, we tend to clinch and want to fight back sometimes.
Yeah, but so it's important to note that in his bio, the TikTok creator said that most of his contents are AI generated.
So I just put this in AI and it gives me a feedback and I post it.
I also think this gives us the opportunity to talk a little bit about fake news, cyberbullying, and authenticity when it comes to passing information across, especially on social media. It's why we should be very careful what we say online. It's also important that we are very careful what we digest. When you see stuff online, you don't take everything hook, line, and sinker. Yeah. So basically, we are waiting to see if the presidency is going to respond to this. Presidential spokesman Bayo Nanuga is good at responding to stuff like this.
Everything.
Yeah. So my fingers are crossed to see how
if
he's going to spin this particular
night,
tale.
You wait for it tomorrow. However, maybe like I said, I always like to be optimistic. Maybe they're changed. Maybe they just they're just little kids playing around. And here we have freedom. There's democracy, so there's freedom of information, but don't pass a wrong information. We'll move on to our newspaper review. And however, one of the first, Vivi highlighted, was us talking about the P2B weighing in on P2B and Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah, a lot is happening on that front. But I'm thinking before we do the newspaper review, why don't we take a short break? We'll take a short break. When we come back, it will be a newspaper review. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's the Morning Buzz right here on VOP TV. I am Vivian and I got my co-anchor Chioma right here. It's time for the newspaper review and we begin with the Saturday Times. Middle Strip major headline, guys. Residents and stakeholders back closure of Mokwa IDP camps. Let me take that again, right? Middle Strip, the Saturday Times says residents and stakeholders back closure of Mokwa internally displaced people's camp. This will be the Saturday Times. And we have also right there, Middle Strip, just below that, a number of IDPs looking very grim. Beside that one, there's a glamorous picture of the very talented actress talking about debate as patients who may question Chioma Chukwuka's role choices. That would be the picture of the very well-known actress Chioma Chukwuka. So there is a debate raging right now as patients who make questions Chioma Chukwuka's role choices. Above the masthead, though, 2009 FGN ASU agreement remains last binding document. Minister clarifies. Now, this is the Minister of Education, Tunde Alausa, clarifying that the 2009 FGN ASU agreement remains binding. Why is this on the front burner? Because earlier on, the federal government had said there was no standing agreement between ASU and the FG. But beside that story above the masthead, we have this one. It's tagged Support Fund. Don't push our members into borrowing, ASU tells federal government. So the academic union is saying that rather than set up a trust fund for us, please pay our salaries and emoluments. Now let's go way below now. Below the Middle Strip, we have police invite senator over alleged threats to Kaduna Gov's life. I take that again. Police invite senator over alleged threats to Kaduna Gov's life. Beside that, we have NIMC database intact, never breached. That is coming from the boss of the NIMC department. I take it again. NIMC database intact, never breached. Boss insists. Also, 2.5 billion naira donations to UBT. Age group blasts Peolo says it's uncalled for. Let me take that again because this is mind-boggling. 2.5 billion naira donation to UBT. Age group blasts Peolo says it's uncalled for. You want details of that story, just go to page 5 of the Saturday Times. Also on the front page of the Saturday Times, ex-Super Eagles striker Anthony Uja retires from professional football. Still football on the front page of the Saturday Times. Fenerbahce sacks Mourinho as Besiktas Axis soldier. Mourinho is gone again. This is like a recurring incident. But right now we have been joined by our in-house analyst, Dr. Peter Anosike. Sir, thank you so much for joining us on the morning show today.
I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, there are a number of stories on the front page of the Saturday Times, but I'd like for you to address this one a little bit because it's been on the front burner for a while now. The 2009 FGN ASU agreement remains binding. The Education Minister, Tunde Alasa, had to come out to make this clarification. I don't know if you've been following this story. When ASU threatened to go on strike because he said the federal government had not, agreed, was not working the talk, the federal government came saying, no, there is no standing agreement between you and I and all. But now it made a U-turn almost immediately to say, hey, there is an agreement, but it wasn't updated and all of that. What do you make of this whole thing?
Well, I was shocked when the Minister of Education said that there was no agreement. Because in 2009, there was an agreement between the federal government and ASU. And the government is a continuum. You cannot say that, that I don't know about it. Understand me? So there was an agreement, and that was even the reason, the reason for the strike in 2014. Because they want to use the election and force Jonathan to fulfill the agreement. Understand me? And the APC, then the parties in opposition, then funded that ASU protest that took more than 6 months. So I was shocked when this guy was now saying that there was no agreement. What he should have said, even though not binding, is that it was not our administration that signed the agreement. Although not binding.
That makes a lot of sense.
However, it's not binding because federal government is a continuum.
It's a continuum.
It's not limited to a particular administration.
Absolutely.
So Nigeria, it was Buhari some years ago, some years ago. It's Tinubu now. It was Jonathan. Before then, it was Gowon.
The crux of the matter here,
but
Doctor,
Nigeria is constant.
The crux of the matter is that in 2017, there was an update, or there was a committee put together to update the agreement. And then in 2021, there was a draft, right? So this present administration said that draft has not been made, has not been signed yet. It is not yet an agreement. But the 2009 agreement is the one that is still binding. I think, like you rightly said, it's an issue of miscommunication here.
It's miscommunication.
Absolutely.
But sincerely, I don't have sympathy for ASU.
You don't?
My concern is the students. These are the people that have been rigging elections everywhere. Understand me? So I don't have any sympathy for them. My concern is the students.
So you think ASU, they are the ones responsible for rigging elections?
They are the people that INEC is using as returning officers and so forth. So they are the people that put us in this quagmire that we are in.
That's an interesting opinion.
So that means there is a connotation somewhere that ASU is corrupt.
They are corrupt.
So for a corrupt organization,
they are corrupt.
This is a wasted statement, Doctor.
So that means there is
the
no
professor is in jail in Cross Rivers in Akwa Ibom for rigging an election.
Yeah, what else? There's nothing to say in addition to that. I think we'll move on to the next newspaper now, The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to take that?
Yes, I wouldn't mind. On the Guardian newspaper this morning, just above the mast, I have 5 years after master plan expired, Lagos still in search of safe drinking water. And just beside that, Tinubu should overhaul NTA as Voice of Africa. And next to that, Nigeria at TCAD 9, forging a stronger partnership with Japan. And below the mast, we have medical tourism reversal narratives, a myth or reality. Ogun releases land for Ijebu-Ode inland dry port. If you are not running from justice, submit to EFCC investigation, group tells Haskell. And also below the mast, economic financial crimes fuel insecurity in ECOWAS region, say stakeholders. So economic financial crimes fuel insecurity in ECOWAS region, say stakeholders. Education Minister makes U-turn, admits federal government has to sign agreement in 2009. So they're just going back and forth. Anyway, federal government explains non-publication of budget implementation report since Q2 2024.
That'll be the second quarter of 2024.
Yes. So first off, before we get back, you're saying Education Minister is saying one thing. There's just this back and forth. There's just so much inconsistency. But before we continue with that, if we ever have to, this major headline for The Guardian, it's also a concern. Medical tourism reversal narrative. Is it a myth, or do you think it's a reality?
For it to be a reality, one thing needs to be done. There should be a law that if you are a minister of health, you and your family must be using medical facilities in Nigeria. If you are the Minister of Education, your children must be schooling in Nigeria. That's the only way they can take this thing serious. Understand me? That's the only way this can, because now, if ASU goes on strike and the Minister of Education education kids are abroad, it won't concern him.
They're unaffected.
Understand me? But if there's another, for you to be Minister of Health, you must be having your medical facilities, medical treatment in Nigeria, something with your wife and children. It is even a shame on us. Imagine our president going to France, going to UK for medical checkup. Donald Trump cannot treat himself anywhere outside America. That's pride. Understand me? So this is the only way we can bring this thing back. Understand me? When you know that if you fail, it's going to affect you personally.
So, Doctor, apart from the minister, because you made mention of the Minister of Health being the one that if you're a Minister of Health
and the key officials.
Okay, I was about to get to that point.
You took the words right out of our mouth.
Do you understand? Because it will be, what's good for the goose is also, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. So
if you can do this on education and on health, it will help, because these people will know if the hospitals are not functioning, it will affect me, it will affect my children.
Yeah.
That's the only way to go. Then I also want to talk about the NTA issue.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know why Al Jazeera was founded. Al Jazeera was founded to counter CNN. Because CNN was projecting the Arab world as that's a nation of animals. Understand me? So Al Jazeera came to show the other side of Arab world. Understand me? So Al Jazeera is there to counter CNN. But most of people don't know this, because CNN was telling a bad side of the Arab world. So they have to bring their own positive side.
You mean change narratives?
Sure. So this is what NTA can also do if it is well funded. Understand me? If it's well funded, it can tell the good side of Nigerian story. Because what they are hearing abroad is a country of 419ers. But NTA is not being funded. And there's no professionalism in NTA.
But does NTA actually purport Nigeria? Do they actually say Nigeria is fraudsters? I don't think they actually put Nigeria in some light. The problem seems to be that they don't, most people are saying that they don't actually come out to say the truth. Who? You hear people talk on the streets. That's why they don't tune in most.
Yeah, but I think what the doctor is saying, that NTA is poised to make Africa, Nigeria, look good.
To present the good side of Nigeria.
Tell the Nigerian story by Nigerians in a positive light.
But are they telling a bad story?
No,
that's the question.
The impression outside is that Nigeria is a country of fraudsters, basically. So NTA should be the one to tell to change the narrative. I get your drift. But I think what the president is also trying to do is to reposition the whole structure. Now, he just named Stella Dean Jacobs as the executive director for news, NTA. If you know Stella Dean, is she?
Very, very well, very, very well.
very well known. In fact, she's the director of news TVC currently, and she's going to be, porting to the NTA. So fingers crossed to see how that particular one pans out. Before we wrap up this particular segment, Doctor, I'd like for us to quickly take a look at the Saturday Tribune. Right, major headline, guys. Go to the middle strip. ADC woos Jonathan for 2027 race. Two riders to that particular story. One, ex-president weighs party options, and two, APC mocks him, says he cannot defeat Tinubu. Above the masthead, Glow is saying thanks to Nigerians for 22 years of support and patronage. Below the middle strip, killing of soldier, Bauchi police appeal for calm, set up investigative panel. And below that one, we are facing the worst bandit attacks in Kwara. That is a quote. Beside that story, calm returns after police youths clash in Lagos. Let me take that again. Calm returns after police and youths clash in Lagos. Glad there is calm now. The other story here, just below the middle strip, is kidnappers abduct FMC worker in Ondo and colleagues threaten strike. We do hope that the kidnapped victim is rescued swiftly. Now below that, APC and PDP ignoring insecurity, hunger, public anger in favor of power sharing games ahead of 2027. That is coming from Solomon Dalong of Plateau State. Below that, Niger Delta youths condemn call for sack of NNPC Elbus. All right. And we also have this one here. It's a quote. He married me for my property, later deserted me because I'm barren. Woman tells court. That's rather unfortunate. But before we talk about this, though,
yes, I would like to.
You want to talk about that?
No. Before we talk about it, I would like to welcome.
No, absolutely. We're going to do that.
Yes,
yeah, don't run. Yeah,
because the story was it's really. It's really interesting.
Which story?
The story of the woman who said...
Oh, yeah, before we talk, I don't even know if Dr. Anosike will want to talk about that.
But we have a virtual guest who I believe would help us make sense of all of this, especially starting with that story. We have
no,
Mr.
we are
Dele.
not starting with that story. Okay, so our in-house analyst, Dele Fanimo, has just joined us virtually. Yeah. And you're welcome aboard. Before we come to Dele, please, Doctor, I'd like for you to talk about ADC Wayne Jonathan for 2027 race. There are a couple of riders to that story. Ex-president weighs party options. It's also on the front burner today that his brother is saying that Jonathan is still mulling over the presidency. But the APC is mocking him and he's saying that he cannot defeat Tinubu. What's your take?
The truth is that Jonathan has retired and he's going to stay retired. Understand? He has retired and he's going to stay retired. He was chased out of office. He would not want to go back there.
You said that again. He was chased
out of office.
By who?
By the APC, using all kind of manipulation, security, and so on and so forth. Between June 2024 and May, Jonathan was going through hell. Understand? The security report that he was getting was threatening. So he will not want to have a repeat of that anymore. All
right, let me see if Dele Fanima and in-house analysts will want to weigh in on this as well. But first, sir, thank you so much for joining us on the Morning Boss today. You are welcome aboard.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so Dr. Anosike thinks that former President Goodluck Jonathan was chased out of office by the APC and that he will never consider returning to the presidency. What do you make of that?
Politicians are not predictable. There is nothing beneath a politician. So if the permutations are right and he feels that he can win, the allure of Aso Rock is too tempting for anybody to want to say, I am not interested. So don't be too surprised that if he's brought in, he might not resist it. It might not resist it. But for me, Jonathan would have been better off the radar at this time because he has notched up certain credentials that borders on integrity and maturity. The way he calmly stepped down after the loss in 2015 has earned him a lot of goodwill across the world, that it will be dangerous and counterproductive for him to want to fritter away such goodwill. So for me, if I have an opportunity of meeting him, I would rather tell him, please stay where you are and continue to enjoy this goodwill. He's been made ambassador of peace. He's been made to head election committees across the world, and he gets special invitations. And that's what should matter to him today. As a former president, he has some perks that should be enough for him, rather than giving himself unnecessary headache over tossing him around and all that. So I would advise that he should just stay in Otuoke and enjoy the rest of his life.
That him coming back to contest, because there's a lot of woos, ADC is wooing him, PDP is also considering him. Do you think him coming back to run will sort of defame him or give him a wrong name after he's contested or he's won it actually? Do you think there is a negative connotation?
Those who are begging Jonathan to run, they just want to use him. The northern elements don't trust Peter Obi, and they feel that if Peter Obi is given that ticket, just the way Jonathan had an agreement that he was not going to run the second time, having spent 2 years of Yar'Adua's tenure and 4 years of his own tenure, they felt that he would just step down and let another person contest for that position. And so the same thing, they would have, it's a case of once beaten, twice shy. Anybody that has the opportunity of running second term, the northern element will never, because even if he doesn't want to contest, by the time he gets into office, those around him will urge him on. And they don't want another Jonathan in Aso Rock. So they know that Jonathan cannot run again after 4 years. But they are not too sure that Peter Obi will not change the goalposts. So that's why they are bringing him out. What the North wants is 4 years. If they have to sacrifice 4 years for the South, it shouldn't be somebody that has opportunity of contesting after 4 years.
All right, I think we'll just hold your thoughts, right, Dele, because we are going to push this particular topic further. Because in a short while, we'll discuss PDP weighing Peter Obi and Goodluck Jonathan as possible candidates for the 2027 presidential election. Dr. Peter Anosike, as well as Dele Fanimo, are going to have a go at it in a short while. But you're still watching VOP this morning on Voice of the People TV. Details of the story and more after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive into our first story now. Good to have you join us again, Dr. Anosike, as well as Dele Fanimo, who is joining us virtually. Now, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has disclosed that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is considering Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and former President Goodluck Jonathan for his 2027 ticket. The PDP Governors Forum chair said the move follows the party's decision to zone the presidency to the south. Obi, a former Anambra governor, defected from the PDP in 2022 before contesting under the Labour Party, while Jonathan governed Nigeria under the PDP from 2010 to 2015. Mohammed added that beyond Obi and Jonathan, the party is in talks with other influential politicians across party lines, including former members like ex-Rivers Governor Rotimi Amechi. He confirmed that discussions with Obi and Jonathan are ongoing, pledging to step down if Jonathan joins the race. According to him, the PDP is quietly reaching out to political heavyweights to build a strong coalition ahead of 2027. Now, Dr. Anosike, you and Dele, you've both talked about Jonathan not really throwing his heart into the ring. But how about Peter Obi, though? Do you think he's going to ever consider returning to the PDP?
The answer is no. Then on Jonathan, the Nigeria that Jonathan ruled in 2014-15 is not the same. It's not the same Nigeria.
What's different about
Nigeria is now tougher than that.
Okay.
Understand me? There's a lot has changed within the past 10 years in Nigeria. So Nigeria is now tougher, stronger than what Jonathan managed. And I hope he knows that.
All right.
Then on the issue of Banda Mohammed and Atiku are not on the same page. Banda Mohammed worked against Atiku in 2023. Understand? And they have not reconciled. That was why when Atiku declared that he's going to run, Banda Mohammed said that he will also run. Understand? Just to wait on Atiku's influence. But as we speak, Atiku is the most popular northern politician. He's the most influential northern politician.
So it's kind of replacing the late Buhari.
Before it was Buhari, now it's Atiku. Understand? So, but when they decided, when the Makinde and faction of PDP now say that they have zoned to the south, mind you, the Wike own faction say that they're not in support of it. So Banda now said, okay, that he's no more contesting. Because you know that they have now taken it now to the south. But there's no way P2B will go back to PDP while the person that chased him out of PDP and the person of Nelson Wike is still there. So P2B cannot join PDP. He will resign from politics instead of going back to PDP.
Okay, let's look at the man, the ex-River State Governor, Rotimi Amechi. What do you make of him?
He's a paperweight.
Wow.
Why do you say that?
He cannot win an election outside the River State. He cannot win an election outside River State.
What made you say that? You think he doesn't have... remember, he was the former Minister of Transport and all that. So you think that alone wouldn't make him... would not have made him garner other people's trust from different regions of the country?
Which regions? Now, what P2B is selling is his character. That's why he is currently the most popular, the most credible politician in the country. Understand me? That's what P2B is selling. His character, his personality, which Rotimi Amechi don't have. Amechi has nothing to sell.
So what would make him, because he actually said he's coming out, he's reportedly been...
You can also come out if you think you are constitutional right.
What do you think is giving him the confidence to say, I will run for 2027 election?
He has stolen a lot of money. Since 1999 till 2023, he has been in a political position. Understand me?
Yes.
1999 to 2007, he was the speaker. 2007 to 2007 to 2015, he was the governor. 2015 to 2023, he was a minister of transport.
Yeah.
So for 24 years, he did not buy fuel with his own money. Understand me? So, and after Lagos State, Rivers is the richest state. So he has been stealing a lot of money. So that's what is giving him confidence. And he hopes that to buy votes. So that's why P2B is different from them.
It's important to note that the former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, is flying his kite right now on the platform of the ADC. We're going to see how that pans out. But let's...
He's a shoe shiner.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how to react to that particular one now. But let me take it to Dele Fanimo, who is also joining us virtually. The PDP is zoning its presidential slot to the south. It has been said by some analysts it's paving the way for the likes of Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, who is actually getting to be the star boy as it looks. But what do you make of the PDP trying to woo Peter Obi back to his home, as they call it, though? Dele.
Enlightened selfish interests is what is propelling them to bring Obi back. And they know he has a lot of goodwill, particularly among the youth of this country. And they know that the driving force behind politics is the youth. And so, because they are mobile, they are easy to mobilize, and they know what they want. So, what they are after is winning that election for the spoil of office. But I don't see, if you ask me, I don't see any reason why Peter Obi should return to PDP. But politicians are very funny. You could just hear tomorrow that he has agreed to go back to PDP. After all, Atiku had left PDP and returned 3 times. And what makes you think that the Atiku we are talking about today will not return to PDP before the next election? These people are very, very unpredictable.
Peter Obi is different. Peter Obi has character.
Peter Obi is not different.
It's very, very
Peter
different.
Obi swore. Hold on. Peter Obi swore that he will never leave Abga. He left Abga. So why would you say that Peter Obi is different? You see,
would you want to answer? He's asking, yes. Why do you think Peter Obi is different?
Okay. If we do study history, if we do study politics, we will be having answers to all these things. Understand me? In 2013, Peter Obi handed over to Obiano. Understand me? But Obiano felt that Peter Obi's influence is still overshadowing him. People were still talking about Peter Obi. He said, no, this man should leave this party. So Obiano chased Peter Obi out of Abga. By then, I was the publicity secretary of Abga in Lagos State, so I know what is happening. I'm not telling you what other people tell me or what I read in the papers. I was the publicity secretary of Abga, so I can tell you that's in-house story. Understand me? Obiano was instrumental to Peter Obi leaving Abga. He didn't leave it voluntarily.
So would it be said that Peter Obi, since from what you said, that he was chased out of Abga, there was just a little ruse. So does it mean that he doesn't have a fighting spirit? Because as a leader, there is supposed to be that element to be able to fight back.
Stay in power.
So yes, there was once he said something about he's not desperate to be in power, but that's different from being able to fight for the cause you support. Yes, another school of thought might say, oh, he doesn't want fight, he likes peace. But what would you explain, how would you explain this particular notion? That is it possible that Peter Obi does not have a fighting spirit?
It depends on what you mean by fighting spirit. To me, fighting spirit, you mean putting your feet down, isn't it?
Yes.
That's getting...
For what it is, for the cause you're chasing after.
Done the way you
it should
want
be done,
it.
yes.
That's why those who read the Mafia Manager, there was a character there, Gambino, who said that a leader should have the attribute of a lion and a fox. Understand me?
Yes.
Lion to roar when you are supposed to roar.
Yeah.
Understand me? And then fox when you are supposed, that this carrot and stick stuff. Understand me? So that's why for me, in that lion attribute is what I'm not really comfortable with Peter Obi.
Which is also was the downfall of former President Goodluck Jonathan.
Understand me.
He said he wasn't a lion, right?
Understand
Yeah,
me.
but I also want to go back to Dele. I don't know if you've been convinced, though, that Peter Obi is a different breed.
I am not in any way. I'm not in any way convinced. He might have his own say. He might have his own way. But the point is, look at what Wike is doing with PDP. In spite of all the things, he remained in PDP today. It's not an excuse for our next governor to leave a party for an incumbent. That means he was not politically on ground, even as a governor. He didn't build structures as a governor that he could consolidate on. That's why, if it is true, which I don't believe, that his successor chased him out of a political party.
Okay.
Look at what is happening now. Labour Party is in disarray. Is he going to leave Labour Party? He has not left Labour Party up till now. What I'm saying is that the reason why I made allusion to this is the fact that politicians are not predictable. And so, don't ever take anything away from a politician. Even Winston Churchill, the elder statesman in Britain, once said that if we as politicians, we don't believe ourselves, why would you believe us? Anything can happen in politics. And so, for me, PDP is just trying to get maximum benefit from Peter Obi if they want him to return. It's not as if they love him.
Okay.
But they know that the optics are there, that if Peter Obi should run on the ticket of PDP, they will have some mileage in the next election. It's not as if they love him.
Okay, let's bring it back to the studio. Doctor, you know Peter Obi had promised that if he's given a chance to rule Nigeria, he's just going to do it for 4 years so that he can pave way for a northern candidate thereafter. You seem to think he's a different breed when it comes to politicians in Nigeria. You think he will stick to that particular promise?
100%. Let me tell you what happened in 2005. 2005, Peter Obi was the chairman of Fidelity Bank. So they were holding, by that time, he ran in 2003, but they declared Ngige winner, and he went to court. Understand? So he was holding an annual general meeting of a Fidelity Bank when Supreme Court made the announcement that Peter Obi is the rightful winner of the Anambra 2003 governorship election. So it was Ndubisi Kanu, net Commodore Ndubisi Kanu was in the meeting. When that announcement came, he stood up and told Mr. Chairman, hold on, you have been declared governor of Anambra State. Return to Anambra immediately. So Peter Obi said, well, let me just go and finish the remaining 1 year of left by Ngige, because Ngige had been in office for 3 years. Peter Obi said, let me go and finish up the remaining 1 year. It was Femi Fanana that said, no, your tenure begins immediately you are sworn in. Understand me? As once you are sworn in, your 4 years will start running. You are going to do your 4 years. So this is not what every other Nigerian can do. And even why we're even talking about this PDP ADC is because there's no provision for independent candidacy. Ordinarily, Peter is not supposed to be mixing up with all these people. And ego does not associate with a chicken.
Wow. That's a big statement. Now, Dele had said earlier on that Peter Obi has not left the LP, but he has made it very public that he is fully behind the ADC. I mean, in the just concluded elections, by-elections, he actually came out to campaign for the ADC candidates as against the Labour Party candidates. I also heard you say earlier on that you don't see him going back to the PDP.
He will not go back.
But then he seems to think that politicians are unpredictable. There is a possibility that Peter Obi might return to the PDP. He also said, Dele Fanima also said that the PDP is just troubleshooting. They are just trying to muddy the waters, right? And that is why they are zoning their ticket to the south and they are weighing Peter Obi, weighing talks, ongoing talks between them and Peter Obi and the former President Goodluck Jonathan. As we wrap up this particular topic, what are your final thoughts, though? The
issue is this: where are these talks holding? You understand me? Where are all these talks holding? Just like what you are now hearing that Jonathan said yes, Jonathan said no. Jonathan had never issued a personal statement. They will tell you his brother said, his aide said. What had Jonathan said? Jonathan had not said anything. So where are they holding this meeting with Peter Obi? Understand me?
Okay.
Where are they holding this meeting? Because I know Peter Obi's both SA media, SA social media. Understand me? We talk. Where is this meeting holding? And it will be stupidity on his own part, understand, denying or supporting every statement. Because in politics, the game there is silence and secrecy. That's what, when people are asking, where is Peter Obi now? Where is Peter Obi now? People cannot attack what they don't know. So in politics, it's two things: silence, secrecy. Keeping people in suspense. Because once you say, this is where I am, or this is what I'm doing, people will begin to attack you. Nobody can attack what they don't know. Understand me? So those, or they want Peter Obi to be even telling them, I'm in the restroom, I'm in the kitchen. That is not how this game, it's a game of secrecy and silence.
I don't know, Chairman, if you want to push that further a little bit, secrecy and silence. Yeah. What you seem to say is that Peter Obi is playing the game very well.
Sure.
Okay, well, let me take it back to Dele Fanimo, who is still joining us virtually. Anosike here, Dr. Anosike here seemed to think that the Peter Obi is never returning to the PDP. He also said former President Goodluck Jonathan has not said anything about him throwing his heart back into the ring. But this is what he came out to say not too long ago, that there must be an independent screening and nomination of the electoral umpire. Do you think that's him saying, before I might return to run for the presidency, this thing about electing an INEC chairman must be fixed, or else I'm not doing it? What do you make of that, though?
Is the question directed at me?
Yes, please, Dele.
Well, I lost the drift because I couldn't hear you at some point.
Okay, let me take that again. So, Dr. Anosike has said that Peter Obi is not returning to the PDP, and he's also saying that all this talk about the former President Goodluck Jonathan, contesting for the presidency in 2027 is just rumor, that the former president has not said anything himself. So I'm saying the only thing he came out to say just this week was that the electoral umpire, talking about the chairman of INEC, must be independently screened and nominated by the judiciary, trade unions, as well as student unions as well, and not by the presidency. That's the only thing Jonathan has come out to say. Do you think that is a teaser, or that is like him telling us that he's actually mulling the returning to the presidency?
The politicians are adept at flying kites. Some of these things that you consider as rumor are actually a way of feeling the pulse of the nation for him to take a final decision to either leap or stay where he is. And besides, funny enough, we always forget things easily. Who appointed Jega that became albatross to Jonathan? Was he taken through labor union, plebiscite, conducting a referendum or election? But still, Jega became his albatross to the point that Orubebe wanted to die at the collection center. So, who is that angel in Nigeria that will be the electoral umpire? Are you going to bring, you think the president will sit back and allow opposition to bring in electoral umpire to conduct election? No, let's be realistic. I am a realistic person. I don't believe in emotional sentiment. These are facts. And how do you take, we all agree that judiciary is almost becoming a cesspool of corruption. So you are not throwing it back to the judiciary. What makes you think that a clean person will come out from whatever they are doing? The labor union that is dead, that Nigerians don't even reckon with, that is a puppet, a lapdog to the government, is that the one you want to bring in? It's about conviction. It's about the will to do it. Are you going to rein in an angel from heaven to come and be the umpire? It is not about the individual. It's about the system. What are you putting in place? Rather than talk about who becomes a INEC chairman or whatever, whoever, we should be talking about the system itself. IREV and BVAS is an operational tool up till today. Nobody is talking that it should be part of the Electoral Act. Tomorrow, you lose election, you go to court, and you say because BVAS is not working, IREV is not working. And then the court says, the INEC now says, yes, it is a choice if you want to deploy it or not, because it's an operational tool. It's not enshrined in the law that set up INEC, which is the electoral law. It's not even in the constitution. So how do you defend that? That's why a lot of people lost in the courts, because it's an operational tool. If you are engaged in that studio to work as a presenter, it is your choice to use whichever mic, if it's omnidirectional, if it is if it's another one. But then there's no law that says you should use a particular mic. These are issues that we should be talking about, not the individual.
Okay.
What makes you think that the individual you want to employ, even if you bring from a position, cannot be bought over?
Okay. Before we wrap up on this topic, I would just like Dr. Anosike to just share your thoughts concerning this. Let's play a card of assumption for a minute and assume that the president, the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, will return to power. Remember, he's been out of power since 2015. Will his return back to the race, would it be a form of revival, or would he revive or regress the political landscape?
One, it will diminish the sympathy that people have for him. So it's not going to do him any good. It is not going to, because one, the Nigeria that he ruled is tougher now than then.
So on the political landscape, if he returns, would it revive or regress?
Well, if he returns, it's just to fill the space, understand? The North will want to use him as just that to make sure that power returns to their own in 2031. Understand me? He's not going to serve there for himself, because he was not really taking decision when he was the president, even anywhere in the world. The people that take decisions, you don't see them. You don't see them on the ballot box. They don't run for elections anywhere in the world,
so
even in the United States.
The myth called the cabal is for real?
Sure, very, very real. But for what Mr. Fanimo is saying, Nigeria is still evolving. Understand? Nigeria is still evolving. We will get to that stage. About 3 months ago, Mexicans voted for their judges. Before, judges were being appointed. But they say, no, we should contribute to who becomes our judges. I believe that one day Nigeria will get to this issue of voting for judges instead of the president. System. Understand me? Appointing an INEC chairman, appointing the Chief Justice of the Federation. So we are evolving.
So you agree with former President Goodluck Jonathan that it should be an independent screening and nomination process?
Because they say who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Okay, so we've had that, and we're moving over quickly on our next topic, which is on oil marketers alleging Ojulari intentionally closed Port Harcourt Refinery to benefit private firms. But before we continue with that, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll still be here. You're watching Voice of the People television. So stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still watching Voice of the People television. Remember, on all social media, we are Voice of the People television. And on YouTube, we are VOP TV Live. VOP TV Live. Now moving on with our next topic, talking about the oil marketers. Hoscom Bulk Petroleum Retailers of Port Harcourt Refinery has accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, Limited, and its Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Ojulari, of deliberately shutting down the Port Harcourt Refinery to favor private operators, particularly Dangote Refinery. The group argued that Ojulari's claim of halting rehabilitation due to monthly losses of about 500 million naira and for maintenance or sustainability assessment was a cover for a strategy that benefits private refineries at the expense of state-owned facilities. It noted that billions of dollars had already been spent on revamping the refinery, which could have remained operational during review processes, warning that shutting public refineries removes a vital market price check and gives undue advantage to private entities. Hoscom criticized NNPC for proudly depending on its 7.2% equity stake in Dangote Refinery, far below the agreed 20% due to unpaid balances, while closing its own plans, expressing disappointment over the $1.5 billion already spent on rehabilitation. The group called Pengason's demand for urgent repairs of all 4 national refineries and called on President Bola Tinubu to intervene, restore refinery operations, boost the economy, and still create jobs. Now we know the Hoscom has to do with, is actually host community. You know, we still have with us our in-house analyst virtually joining us, Mr. Dele Fanimo virtually. And we have here, right here in the studio, Dr. Anosike with us. Once again, help us make sense of all of this. You know that when we talk about Hoscom, it's a host community, and those community represent Eleme and Okrika of River State. Now they are coming out to tell NNPC, this way you're going about this thing is totally wrong. How can you shift power? How can you spend so much, you know, talk about rehabilitation, and all of a sudden, out of the bloom, pam, you're saying, no, we're not. So is the shutdown of the Port Harcourt refinery truly a technical decision, or does it reflect deep-rooted corporate capture by private interests?
Well,
Doctor?
For me, I don't even believe that Port Harcourt refinery refined a liter of fuel.
Okay.
Since its inception or since the rehabilitation?
Since the rehabilitation, understand, okay. I never believed that it refined a liter of fuel. Understand? But Dangote has been a monopolist right from time. And you know, when Ojulari that was appointed, Dangote was the first high-profile person to go and visit him. And I knew that he was going to make a deal. because he was fighting with the former NNPCL. Understand me? So
led by Melekiari.
yes. Yeah. So when this guy now came, he went there to make a deal Donald Trump way. Understand me? And mind you, he had been interested in this thing. In 2006, Obasanjo sold the Port Harcourt refinery to him, but Omar Musa Yar'Adua revived it. And if you what he did in the cement industry, if people remember Ibeto once borrowed 12 billion naira to bring bulk cements into the country. Dangote used his power to put it down. Understand? It was entering demurrage. Understand me? That they refused to release it from the ports. Okay. He borrowed all the money. Interest was going. Demurrage was running. Ibet almost had a stroke because Dangote want to maintain that monopoly. So he's somebody that doesn't allow others to do what he is doing. That's why he cannot be on the same page with Bua.
You mean Dangote?
Dangote.
So do you think that Nigerians should view this move, this particular move by Ojulari, do you think Nigerians should view it as economic sabotage, or is it a necessary transitional move towards privatized energy? Do you think it's an economic sabotage?
What develops an economy is competition, not monopoly. Understand me? So Port Harcourt Refinery should be allowed to work. Warri Refinery should be allowed that to work. Importation of fuel should continue.
There's also Kaduna Refinery.
They said that it's no more whatever. So
but there was.
There was.
You know, but can I come in here? You said the Port Harcourt refinery should be allowed to work. I mean, you yourself just said earlier on that it hasn't refined even a liter of fuel.
That's what I'm saying.
And millions of naira have been dumped into this particular facility. Should it be sold or kept while he continues to drink monies and not refine any kind of oil?
In 2022, Melekiari said that he used 200 billion for wages in NNPCL. Mm-hmm. We don't know the staff strength of NNPCL. That they used the 250 billion for turnaround maintenance. We didn't see anything. That was when he was giving them that we will refine by March, by September, by December, and so forth. So that's why when they begin to say that Port Harcourt Refinery has started refining, I didn't believe them. So I want competition in the downstream sector, not monopoly.
Okay, so are we looking at the private sector now, or still the Port Harcourt Refinery, state-owned Port Harcourt Refinery, which is really not refining any oil? Or do you want to see more billionaires come up with their own private refining plants?
Bua is building a refinery at Cross River State,
absolutely,
which is 450,000. Understand me? Mind you, Dangote is 650,000.
It's massive.
Yes. So if I have 650,000 and you have 450,000, I'll run you out of business. Very easy. I call down price, make my money on volume.
All right, Chairman, so I don't know if you want to invite Dele.
Yes, I was about to, because Mr. Dele, you're still there with us.
I'm here.
Okay, so you've heard you followed the story. Do you think is a case of accountability? Because billions, not thousands of naira. In fact, sometimes it's been stemmed into dollars. That means naira loses value when it comes to these refineries. Do you think is a case of accountability? People not being accountable to what's happening here?
You see, the 4 refineries have been afflicted by cancer of the blood, which is called leukemia. The more pints you inject, the more it disappears. and the final death knell is near. It can also be referred to as Abiku in Yoruba land and Ogbanje in Igbo land.
Okay.
The more you pamper it, the more you try to make that child stay, the more is encouraged to go. NNPC is a cesspool of corruption. That is why they want to hold on. I'm so disappointed by the utterances of the current GMD of NNPC, Ojulari. Somebody who has made his mark in the private sector, in the oil and gas industry, to want to hold on to that particular moribund edifice. Peter just said something. How do you increase the overhead of an unproductive enterprise? You have overhead of over 200 billion as overhead. You junket across the world in private jets to go and hold meetings, conference that can be held anywhere in this country. Obudu Ranch is there. You couldn't go to Obudu Ranch where you'll be tucked away from the hustle and bustle. Yet, what are you producing? And you are holding on to it that is not be sold. Those who manufacture, those who calibrated these refineries, they have packed up in Europe. And yet you are holding on to it. It's just like you going to the Ladipo market to look for Volkswagen Beetle's parts. You will track the length and breadth of that particular market before you can get a part that is removed from another vehicle. So for me, this idea of Ojulari trying to hold back NNPC refineries for Dangote to survive or for private sector players to survive, it's rubbish. The point is, how do you hold a goat for a lion to thrive? How can you say you are holding 60,000 barrels refinery for 650,000 barrels to survive? That is even notching it up to 700,000 barrels per day. It doesn't make any sense. There is no logic in it, because there is no way a 60,000 barrel per day can compete with 650,000 barrel per day. So what should concern us here is, let us sell this refinery as scrap so that Nigerians can breathe. They are holding on because entrenched interests are manipulating these 4 refineries for their survival. Go to these refineries, you will never see a poor man's child working there from top to bottom. It is these so-called senators, governors, House of Rep members, ex-presidents, ex-this, ex-that, that have their children in NNPC. And maybe a sprinkle of those who excel to the point that their skills are not common. That's the ones you find there that are from poor homes. And as long as those refineries are sold, the job of the managing director of these refineries is gone. The executive directors that have been appointed there, their job is gone, because where would you absorb them?
Okay.
So, let's not debate it. Like it or not, if this country must go on, instead of buying pints of blood to save a leukemia patient, let us allow that patient to go and die peacefully.
Okay, so I'm going to ask both Dele and Peter, but I will start with you, Dele. who should be held accountable? That's my question, because you're saying sell off. If it's sold off, who is also to be held accountable to say, oh, this is the money that was raised from it, if at all it should be sold off? So who should be held accountable to what's happening with the refineries? Who should be held accountable, Dele?
Let me tell you. The president is the petroleum minister. He sits atop these moribund structures. He has the final say on when to sell. Obasanjo sold it. I mean, he sold them, and they came back to retrieve it. So why can't we go that route? Petrobras make so much money, declare so much profit. Aramco declares so much profit year in, year out. NNPC will come and tell you they are declaring profits. Ask them the debt. The debt outstrips the profits they are declaring. The other time they declared 3 trillion. Everybody was clapping. They came out the second day to say they are owing 7 point something trillion. Is that a profit?
It's deficit, actually. So,
so why must you keep something that gives you a headache? It is either you dispose this thing that is giving you a headache, or that headache will subsist and eventually kill you.
Okay.
Can I come before we come back to it?
Okay.
Corruption will kill you.
Before we come to the studio, though, Dele, you know, on one of his foreign trips, Ojulari had said that they were intending to sell the Port Harcourt refinery. And shortly after that, there was massive backlash. People saying that, why would you sell a state-owned refinery like the Port Harcourt refinery? And then he made an about turn. Do you think he was cowed into not selling the refinery because of the backlash, really?
I don't. You see, when they want to be obstinate in government, they have a way of putting their feet down and showing that they have that will to do what they want to do. But when it comes to playing games with Nigerians, that's when they listen to Nigerians. For me, the quickest route is to dispose of, so that we now know where our money goes. NNPC will make profit and dump it and even borrow money to service a moribund concern that will never survive.
Okay. Chama.
So I'm going to ask you, Peter, as well. Who should be held accountable? This we talk about, is it a management problem for Nigerians or Nigeria in general, or the government? Who should be held accountable? We talk about to sell it. If we sell it off, there is some. Daly said something. How they do this and they come back to it. They go this route and they come back. So who should be held accountable?
The truth is that there's no bad business anywhere in the world. What we have is bad management. There's no bad business. What we have is bad management. Why any business fails is management, not that the business is bad. And the simple, the elementary science of becoming rich is being able to differentiate between an asset and liability. And NPCL is a liability to Nigeria, not an asset. Understand me? We should have that at the back of our mind. And government is not a good manager of business. Government is not a good manager of business.
Is it for Nigeria or for other states? Because in other climes, governments are managing their resources well, and it's paying off for them.
It depends on the people, because for you to manage a business well, there must be that ownership mentality. This is my own, not their own. Understand me? So government is not a good manager of business.
Is it Nigerian government?
Nigerian government, African government. Okay. Understand me? In 2006, Obasanjo sold this Port Harcourt refinery.
Sorry, and not to cut you, I would also like you to stress why you say African governments are not good management of business.
The same thing is happening in most of other African countries too. The same thing is happening in most other African countries. An instance, Ghana is not supposed to be exporting raw cocoa now. They should have companies producing beverages. You cannot export cocoa, then buy Bonvita. Does it make sense?
It's just like Nigeria having oil and then importing petrol.
So it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So Obasanjo sold this because Okonjo Iweala advised him, who was the Minister of Finance then, sell this. He sold it to Dangote. Understand? Then 2007, Yaradua came, there was pressure. He reversed it. So assuming it was sold at that time, we wouldn't be in this problem that we at this point in time. But the person that bought it, that bought it then will be having the headache, not Nigeria. And the purpose of any business is to make profit. He must make sure that the business will not die. And by doing that, he will make sure that it is run by experts. Understand? These people that they are having entitlement mentality. Ojulari will not sell. If he sell, his job is gone. Understand me? It's just like somebody told me a story of a boy in detention and told the warder, please go and tell my people to come and bail me. The warder asked him, if they bail you, who will replace you? Because if the prison becomes empty, I will be sacked. So Ojulari will not sell. Because if he sells, he has no job anymore. So they'll keep on patching with our resources. So this is a government problem.
So for clarity though, do you think the marketers are right by saying that Ojulari has closed down the Port Harcourt refinery just to cater to the needs of the private sector? Is that a correct one? Even
they should go straight. The private sector is Dangote. No other person is refining in Nigeria apart from him.
So are the marketers correct?
They should be correct because that's who Dangote is.
Okay.
There are references to that. And Dangote is saying that he borrowed that 20 billion. He needs to pay back.
So another matter I need clarity on now is, what do you think, though, is the best thing to do? Should state-owned refineries be sold, really?
It should be. It's an liability to the country. It should be sold.
Okay.
That's my position.
And you're not thinking it's a case of one giving up their bet right?
Which bet right?
I mean, like, if you give up what you have, because you can't get yourself to be able to manage what you have.
Chioma, if you are not...
Would you still have it tomorrow?
If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. If you are not adding, you are minusing. NNPCL is minusing, it is not adding.
So you think there are no set of people rather, that will come into play and things will take a better turn?
From Nigeria?
Yes.
No.
Are you not a Nigerian?
I'm a Nigerian.
So that means nothing good will come out of you.
I'm a Nigerian, but before you go there, a lot of things have happened. You have been brainwashed.
So you can't be brainwashed.
I'm a human being.
No, Peter, can you be brainwashed?
No, look, that at my age, I'm still evolving. I don't even know myself very well.
Because
until I stop evolving.
I must commend you for your honesty. He just answered you. He's saying yes, he can be brainwashed because he's human. That's what he's saying, basically. Yeah.
I'm still evolving. I don't know what tomorrow will be.
Yeah, I must commend your honesty. But I'd like for us to go back to Dele. Let's take a look at the man, Ojulari himself, right? Not too long ago, we heard that he was kidnapped by the DSS. And then shortly after that, the DSS said we did not kidnap him. Then again, there were rumors that the federal government had sacked him or something like that. And then the federal government came on to say that, no, he's not been sacked and he has not resigned. Just yesterday in the news, he said that there's a threat to his life, that he's not safe, his family members are not safe. What on earth is happening with him? What do you think about the man Ojulari? And do you see him still on maintaining this particular position a couple of years from now?
A couple of months.
Oh, well, let's find out what Dele has to say.
Yeah, Ojulari has been mandated to probe into the accounts of NNPC running back to more than a decade. particularly the 8 years of Buhari. And there are some entrenched interests. Those who had fed fat on our national patrimony, they don't want to be exposed. So it is natural that they will go after Ojulari. Look at what they did to Obase. The same thing is going to. Even Okonjo-Iweala told you, he even wrote in a book that once you fight corruption, corruption will fight you. And when they are coming to fight you, you must have the liver. Look at what they did to this NAFDAC woman. Akuyili. They didn't even threaten her alone. They shot at her. So Ojulari shouldn't come and pretend to us that he didn't know where he was going to when he took that appointment. That appointment is not for luxury. He should know that he would have to step on toes for him to achieve. I wonder and I shudder when managers complain that the seat is too hot for them. Who told you before you were appointed that they will put ice block on that seat? So Ojulari should not complain. If he knows that he doesn't have that will to continue with that job, he should resign and go back to his private sector management opportunity that he had in the past. Nobody's holding him down. He has to do the job. He has to do the job. And what makes you think that he's not even the one crying foul where that is blowing all these lies? The red herring can only sell for once. If it becomes incessant, nobody wants to listen to you anymore. A 102 trillion had been discovered to have been mismanaged over a period of time. That was why the Senate, the National Assembly invited him to come and explain. And you can give it to him that he has not settled down. So he may not be in a hurry to go into the book so that he can defend his position. But to the extent of vicarious liability, he is in the saddle. He is the one to be asked to explain. So if we give him time, we should be limited anyway to explain some of these things. Is it because he's afraid of those he's likely to encounter that is making all this noise about being kidnapped, being arrested, if he has dipped his hand, because you recall that there was an Accountant General of the Federation that was removed for stealing. The person that was acting, the first day he came into the office, he was dancing, they were beating drum for him and all that. In less than 3 months, they discovered that he has also embezzled within 3 months. Is it that Ojulari has embezzled since he came to power that he will not allow us to rest? Let him go back to where he is coming from. If he knows he cannot do the job, he should not come and be telling us that after his life they want to kill him.
Let me come to you, Dr. Anosike. Do you think the seat has become too hot for Ojulari? And like Adele said, do you think he should just go?
90% of Nigerian billionaires made their money through oil. So it is the most corrupt sector in the country. And if Mele Kyari should have, if they can come out openly with what is happening in the sector, there will be a problem in the country. So I'm sure that there must be pressures on him. There must be pressures on him. That's by those who may be affected. Because oil is a very serious business followed by drugs. There are cartels, there are syndicates, understand? They are ready to kill, they are ready to do anything. But the truth is that before you are given an appointment, and you will be called, you will be briefed, understand? So he knows what he is going into, Understand me? So if you accept it, you must do it.
All right. What are your final thoughts on this as we begin to wrap up this particular statement? Ojulari versus the marketers. They are really not in bed right now. How should there be a resolution of this, or how do you see this?
For me, I don't want a monopoly in the downstream sector of the economy. There should be competition. Okay. And when the competitors are fighting, it is Nigerians that are benefiting. Understand me? If the oil importers and Dangote are fighting, it is Nigerians, because they'll be cutting down prices for our own favor.
It's a full deregulation of that sector is what you're calling
Sure.
All right. Dele, I don't know if your final thoughts on this, Chairman.
Dele, your final thoughts on Ojulari versus the oil marketers, Hoscom actually. What are your thoughts concerning?
Ojulari should face the job he's appointed to do. He should not come and give us excuse here. We look up to him to make sure that he exposes those maggot-ridden crevices within the NNPC. And anything short of that, then he has failed. And it's better for him to take a leave before Nigerians begin to beam the searchlight on him. But if he's ready to do the job, Nigerians will support him and posterity will judge him at the end of the day. He has a job to do. He must do it, and do it well, and do it transparently, that every Nigerian will see that he has done it creditably.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dele Fanimo, for that input. It was really thoughtful and necessary. And also, Peter Anosike, we appreciate your presence and your thoughts as regards the stories we've been on. We'll go on a very short break and come back with Trends. Don't forget you're still listening and watching Voice of the People television. Do stay with us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Three men, Dayo Ademola, Tumishe Adeyemi, and Sunday Awotola, were arraigned before the Okitipupa Chief Magistrate Court on charges of felony, burglary, and theft after allegedly breaking into a shop in Sabo area of Okitipupa on June 17th at around 4:40 a.m. and stealing a bag of dried pepper valued at 150,000 naira. The charges, which contravene Section 516 and 416 and 390 subsection 9 of the Ondo State Criminal Code, were presented by Police Prosecutor ASP Zedekiah Orobemi, while the defendants, all laborers and a farmer with undisclosed addresses, pleaded not guilty. Bail of 50,000 naira was granted to each defendant by Chief Magistrate Olariwaju Adelegon, who required sureties to reside within the court's jurisdiction and show evidence of 2 years' tax payment. And the case was adjourned until September 10th for further hearing. We're still here in the studio with Peter Anosike, whilst Dele Fanimo has been joining us virtually. This case, farmers, thefts, meanwhile, you're still watching Voice of the People television. Now we are on to trends on Morning Buzz. Peter, again, help us make sense of this. Three men fighting. Okay, there was a claim, or they were arrested for stealing a bag of pepper worth 150,000 naira. What do you make of it?
Well, for me, nothing really can justify stealing. Nothing really can justify. They can condemn hunger, understand, or anything, but nothing really can justify stealing.
Would hunger make you steal a bag of pepper? Are you going to cheat?
No,
Or
no,
would it be
that's
for
why I
reselling?
say nothing really can justify what they do, understand? So, and again, and this thing, because I always want to look at the whole picture. Since or they have that courage to break into an apartment, they might have been armed. And if they have seen somebody there, they have either killed the person or wounded him. Understand? So what they did there is very bad. Even if it's not, the thing there could be pepper, understand me? It could still be another thing. But the motive, they went to take what doesn't belong to them without taking permission, which is a criminal offense.
So you're saying stealing is stealing? Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Still, once you take what doesn't belong to you without permission, it's stealing.
Whether it's a
Even
bag
if it's a pencil.
yeah, either a pencil or a bag of rice or a bag of pepper
Or a
TV.
vehicle.
Fantastic.
It's
Stealing is stealing.
yes.
So a bail of 50,000 naira was granted by the judge, who also required sureties and that they should show evidence of 2 years tax payment. And the case was now adjourned till September 10. Do you think that was just a slap on the wrist? Or do you think that was deterrent enough?
No, the judge or the magistrate is a human being. Understand me? Given impossible bail conditions may not be nice. And I'm sure that even that 50,000 naira that may still be hard for them because of judging by what they steal.
Okay, so remember, this man pleaded not guilty. However, the person they boggled, that's Iyabo Akinlua, was actually, they boggled Iyabo Akinlua's shop. And this woman said, oh no, these guys stole what was mine. And they are saying that they didn't steal. And Mr. Oroboemi stated that the offenses contravene section 516, 413, and 390 subsection 9. So
Stealing is an offense.
yes.
And even if somebody kills another person, and the judge is there and judge witnessed the killing, he's not his own personal opinion does not matter. What matters in court is the weight of evidence. Understand? Is the weight of evidence brought before all the courts. So they will say not guilty. It will now left for the woman to prove them guilty.
What do you think? What do you think made the country depreciate or debase itself, or make these men debase themselves? I'm not going to make excuse, please. There is no excuse for doing the wrong thing. You do the right thing and stick to it. That's what counts. However, what do you think made these men get to the point that they degenerated to the point of stealing pepper? 3 men, and not 3 boys.
Excuse me, you are commonizing because it's pepper. It could still be other things. And if you know the price of a bag of pepper, 100 and something thousand,
yes,
that should be what should be bothering you. Why should pepper be costing this much?
Exactly, which I think is the question she's asking.
Before we get to that point, before we get to that point, Peter, before we get to that point, what has made men, grown men, you need to. That's what he just said. It's the condition now. It's the state of the nation, really. Hardship, right?
It's hardship now.
Shikena.
Okay. So now on the pepper, you can now talk about the fact that pepper is 150,000.
How did he get there?
Which 10 years ago will not even be up to 5,000.
Exactly.
Will somebody steal pepper 10 years ago?
No.
Tell me. Will somebody steal a bag of pepper 10 years ago? The answer is no. So that shows you how things are deteriorating in the country. So this should be even the talking point. that Nigeria has fallen so low to even going to steal pepper.
That's the point I wanted you to get to.
Understand? So that shows you that we are now living subhumanly.
You know, let's talk about this really holistically. Not too long ago, Obi Ezekwesili came out to say that the removal of fuel subsidy was a good one, but the implementation was zero. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo said that President Tinubu's economic policies are good on paper, but implementation zero. WTO chief Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala came recently to say that the presidency has stabilized the economy, but that there must be safety nets for the vulnerables.
That's diplomacy.
Really? Could you explain that?
One, he's not supposed to be seen as attacking government. Mm-hmm. She shouldn't be another Kemi Bednock.
Yes.
Understand me? So that's diplomacy. You've done well, but there's still more work to be done. Mm-hmm. So it's diplomacy.
All right.
Removing subsidy is good, but where Tinubu felt that a leader must know that every action has its own consequence. So, and that's where the leadership is. Before you take that action, think about the consequence, address it before taking that action. So
absolutely.
That's where Tinubu failed.
Which is what analysts have been saying. Now, the reason why Nigerians are in dire straits right now, why 3 grown men will go steal a bag of pepper because of hardship, basically, is because of the harsh economic policies by this administration. For starters, you floated the naira, right? The same time you removed fuel subsidy.
Use the right word. They valued the naira.
All right. I know you're not big on diplomacy, so you devalued the naira. You didn't just float it. And so you did heavy economic policies at the same time, and it has reduced lots of Nigerians to beggars and thieves in this case now. In fact, somebody just came out to say not too long ago that the middle class have been totally eradicated. So the issue right now is the state of the economy, basically, right? So what are your final thoughts on this, though, as we begin to wrap up?
Well, we will be seeing more of this until insecurity is reduced to the barest minimum. Assuming that a lot of people are going to the farm, because Ondo State is one of the food baskets of this country. Ondo State is an agrarian area where a lot of farming is going on. But herdsmen are in their forest. So if a lot of people are going to their farms, there's no way a bag of pepper will be costing this much. Mm-hmm. So this goes to show you what insecurity is doing to our economy.
Now, you talked about the food basket of the nation. Benue actually is officially the food basket of the nation.
I said one of.
One of, yes. I also want to talk about that, though. Benue, which is actually the food basket of the nation.
And there are no more farming.
There are no more farming. I think you are a mind reader, because that's what I was going to say, because of insecurity and all of that. So insecurity has led to food insecurity, basically.
Sure.
So analysts are, like yourself, are also saying that for Nigeria to return to its pride of place, the issue of insecurity, which is basically at the root cause of stealing and begging, must be
reduced to the barest minimum. Mm-hmm. Because you cannot eradicate it completely. What WHO said that out of every 4 Nigerians, 1 has mental problem. Which means we have more than 50 million Nigerians that are, let me use that word, mad.
That's a serious matter.
So where does that put Nigeria in 5 years, in 2 to 5 years from now, in terms of feeding? Where does that put Nigeria if there is high insecurity with food?
Well,
are we going to get to the point where we have to literally import yam, carrots, garden eggs, everything, cassava?
It depends on the state of insecurity. Understand? That's if nothing is done, it's going to get worse.
So that's what I'm asking. Where does that put Nigeria if nothing is done?
World Bank has said that poverty will worsen by 2027. That's a prediction that World Bank made.
Okay, so as we wrap this up now, what should happen to these men who broke into Iyabo's shop to steal a bag of pepper which is valued at 150 naira. Should justice be tempered with mercy?
Well, it depends. As I said, the magistrate is a human being. The magistrate is a human being.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, so it doesn't look like we are leaving Dele totally out of this conversation. Dele, I mean, what, just have your say, really, as we begin to wrap this up.
Area.
That's his area. What do you make of this discussion we've been having for a couple of minutes now, on the final note?
No, if Peter has made me a judge or a policeman, that says that's my area.
We can't hear you.
I can hear you clearly. Yeah, go ahead, Dele.
Okay.
I said maybe Peter has appointed me a judge or a policeman. That's why I say that is my area. Anyway, I want to say that stealing is stealing, regardless of what the accused person stole. The extent of your committing a crime is dependent on the exposure to that crime. The same person that stole a bag of pepper, if he's exposed to stealing the whole national purse, he will still steal, and he's still stealing. And the law does not recognize quantum of goods when they want. The definition of stealing is taking something that does not belong to you, or you have not been empowered to use on behalf of anybody. So naturally, he would have to answer charges. He would have to answer charges for this. So for me, he has a day in court. Let him face it.
Okay, that's the safe place to land. I've got to say thank you so much, Dele Fanimo, for your insightful, analysis. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Bus today.
It's always my pleasure.
All right. Also, Dr. Peter Anosike.
Thank you.
Brilliant as usual. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Chema, it has been a privilege hanging out with you today.
It has been lovely.
And I've got to say thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. But the bigger thanks goes to you for hanging out with us today on the Morning Buzz. If you liked it, keep a date again with us, some other presenters, same time, same station. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche.
And I am Choma Lena. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Although it